Hey everyone, welcome back. In today's video it's going to be a book haul. For the last month or so I've been kind of buying new books to read and stuff, and kind of, insinuating the habit of reading, and something I haven't really done or thought about in ages or months for a good while, and it's one of those things that I enjoy doing but I haven't given much thought into it. So I thought for a good chunk of December and also this month I've done a bit of shopping and on Waterstones I got myself a whole bunch of books, which I'm actually kind of glad about, two of which I've already started reading. um, so there's that, and two of the books that I've bought are charity shop finds. So especially because one of them is a hardback and the dust jacket has a rip in it, but I don't mind it as much anyway. It's still in somewhat good condition, which I'm actually kind of glad about, to be honest. So let's get started. Now I'm going to start off with the two books that I started reading. The first one being The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. I always keep forgetting the name, but there. Also, side topic before I get into the next book, I did buy a couple of new bookmarks. One of the bookmarks that I bought was this. We Are Starless Meant to Shine, because of the little thing on it, and I've been using it while reading The Catcher in the Rye. So there's that. I did buy another bookmark, which is this Sparrow and Cherry Blossom one. So the other book is, so I also started reading, is Breathless by Jennifer Niven, and obviously this is the UK cover, not the US cover. Which, to be fair, I prefer this cover than the US. Just on how it looks, and it's more, I feel like it's more pleasant to look at. Which I've already started reading. 114 pages in, and I actually really enjoy it. And I've read Holding Up the Universe and All the Right Places. All the Right Places being my favourite so far, and this being coming up second, so that's always an interesting thing. Actually, I'll just place those there. Just so they're out of the way somewhat. Next we're going to go into classics. So the classic that I have here is a collection of George Orwell essays. I read one of his essays, Hanging, back in high school in English, because it was one of the resources I could use in the exam, in the final exam at the end, and I actually did use a Hanging in the end. So I thought I might as well give the other essays a read. I did read Animal Farm, and 1984 is on my list of books to get as well. So I thought I might as well get more of his essay and his works. And what I really like about this book is floppy. Always a good floppy book. It's books like this always make me happy, because it's kind of like when you get a vinyl and it's a coloured vinyl. I've done that one too many times where I've bought a vinyl and not realised it's coloured until the minute I open it. It's always a good surprise though, and it's something that's always pretty, and you get what I mean. Talking about Arthur Miller, I did get A View from the Bridge. I also did read this in high school, but that was more so because I was applying for a prestigious art school for theatre when I was applying for universities and stuff, and one of the texts that they gave a list of texts to read, and you pick one and you read one. One of them happened to be A View from the Bridge, and I just borrowed a copy from the English store in my apartment and just read it. And I thought I actually quite like the story, so I bought my own copy of it. And to be fair, I really do like the artwork on this. Plus I quite like Arthur Miller. I like his work. I'll only read two of his plays, but you get what I mean. Same thing with George Orwell. I've only read a couple of pieces of his work, but want to get into more of it. The next classic is A Streetcar Named Desire by Tennessee Williams. The only reason why I bought this is because when I was doing English in school, I'd switched classes, and the class I was in previously was doing The Crucible, and the class I moved into was doing Streetcar. And I never learned Streetcar. I just had me being me, kind of stubborn. Even as a 17-year-old, I stuck with doing The Crucible because it was a text that I'd studied both in English and in drama, and I was doing English over 2 years, meaning that I deferred the exam when I was in my 5th year and done it in 6th instead. So I was already learning it for those 2 years, and I'd done drama in 5th year, and for one of the texts that we'd learnt was The Crucible, along with The Importance of Being Earnest. But and also the times that they were learning it and I was doing my own stuff and I would hear, you know, the bits and bobs and of them talking about it, I found it quite interesting to listen to, even though I was meant to be doing work. But I thought, a few years later, might as well pick up and read it. So the next book, which is more so a graphic novel, comic-esque kind of situation, is the first volume of Lumberjanes. It's quite thin, but the artwork is really, really pretty. I actually really do like it. I did make a TikTok of this, so if you want to check out my TikTok, the username is the same username that I have for my TikTok. My username for my TikTok is the same username that I have for my Instagram and my Twitter. So if you just look up the same username, it's there. But I'll put it as a just in case. But I've read manga in the past, only like a couple of books, not a lot, but like a small handful. And I thought, like, I want to get into graphic novels because why not, for the heck of it. And I read the synopsis on this on Waterstones and I really liked it because it's about these 5 women in like a summer camp. So I'm guessing in America, just from my assumption anyway, but in a fictional camp in America. So, and I thought I might as well just give it a read. And the artwork is something that I genuinely enjoy looking at. It's pleasant. The next 2 books that I have are the 2 charity shop finds. For reference, I volunteer at this charity shop, so I was able to find them while I was doing my shift. So, same thing with a lot of things while I'm at that shop anyway. The shop being Cancer Research UK, for reference. The first book is Beautiful Broken Things by Sarah Bernard. When I first saw this, I thought, oh, the cover's really interesting. Then I also saw the book looks like it's not being used. Used as in the spine being broken in. Or, you know, when you like open a book and you crack the spine, it didn't look like that. So I just assumed that somebody bought the book and never got the chance to read it, didn't want to read it anymore, and then kind of gave it into the shop. So I just picked up and was like, it looks new and stuff. And it looks interesting just how it reads, just from how it looks. I don't know, I've not really read into many reviews of this, but I just thought, might as well give it a try. Then also the cover attracted me. Like a magpie, I was attracted to it. And the other one being The Giver of Stars by Jojo Moyes. And like I said before, it has like that kind of like rip in like the dust jacket, which I don't mind as much. So I'm like, I'm not bothered. The only other book that I read by Jojo Moyes was Me Before You. And this was like during, when was it? It was during a Valentine's Day period, I think maybe like 2 years ago. However, I enjoyed it. So I have not really read much of Jojo Moyes' work, so it would be interesting to kind of read other books that she's written. I'm guessing those would have came out a few years ago, I'm pretty sure, like recently, within the last like 3 or 4 years. The good thing about it, it comes with its own bookmark, which is great. So I don't want to kind of use all the other ones that I have, I can just, you know, whatever. And also, the inside is really nice. It kind of ties in with the dust jacket, which is great. The next book, which actually was a pre-order that came out recently actually, is, and people would know this if they've read The Hate You Give, is Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. Again, I picked this up mainly because I've read the first book, well, her other first, what do you call it, first book? I don't know. Her other book, The Hate You Give. I remember reading, I picked it up like a year and a bit ago. I read it and I actually really enjoyed it. So when I saw this was coming out, I'm like, I definitely need to give this a read, just for the fact that it's a sequel to The Hate You Give, but it kind of focuses on Star's dad's life, Maverick, for context, on his life when he was Star's age, and also when he found out that he was getting a daughter, which is Star in this case. For anybody who's read The Hate You Give Yoda and has seen like this kind of floating about, they would have like a rough idea of what I'm talking about. and it's like this will be a definitely interesting read to kind of like to understand like another character's point of view as well, especially in the context from the first book. The first book being The Hate You Give, and kind of along that storyline. It'll definitely be interesting, and if you haven't read The Hate You Give, I definitely recommend that book. It's definitely an interesting one to read, especially with the whole, you know, Black Lives Matter stuff from like the summer. The Hate You Give kind of like falls into that in a way, and if anyone who wants to support Black Lives Matter and want to kind of like have an understanding in a fictional way, The Hate You Give definitely fits into that. If you want to have like a slight understanding of what the black community goes through. The next book that I got is Caraval by Stephenie Meyer. I remember when going into Waterstones before the pandemic, like every so often I would see this on the shelf, and what attracted me to it was the cover, primarily. And I thought I might as well give it a try. I read the synopsis online through Waterstones and actually quite like the synopsis. And I think the synopsis mentions The Night Circus by Ed Morgenstern, to which I actually enjoyed. I enjoyed the plot. I felt it was a bit slow for me, but actually genuinely enjoyed like the storyline and stuff and how it worked. So that's what kind of led me into this. The cover and the similarities, or not similarities, but in the same field of The Night Circus. So that's what kind of drawn to me of it. So it is circus themed for reference. So that's what kind of drawn to me to it, and it's like, might as well. Next is Clap When You Land by Elizabeth. I can't pronounce her last name for the life of me, I'm sorry. But what made me recognise this book was from BookTube and BookTok. Just from seeing other people kind of like talking about it online and like the synopsis and stuff, and I thought I might as well give it a read. The inside of it is really nice, like text wise and how it's laid out. And also the cover is really interesting as well. And I really like the cover, and it's soft and it's kind of like that matte sheer thing. It's a nice cover and I like the contrast of colours, but the synopsis of this, but like I remember I also read, again, like I've read the synopsis to this and I actually quite like the synopsis, that and also the people online like through BookTube and through BookTok that have described the book and said that they quite liked it, so I thought I might as well give it a read myself. Right, and the last book that I have, which is actually probably one of the thicker ones, are the ones that I bought along with The Hate You Give, is Original Folk and Fairy Tales of Brothers Grimm. Now I'm the type of person that has been somewhat interested in like the stories that the Brothers Grimm have written, but never actually went into it, and I thought I might as well pick up the book anyway. Somewhat floppy book, which is nice, similar to the George Orwell essays book, but I thought like I might as well kind of like, this is going to be like one of those books I'll probably take my time to read and not in any particular rush, just from how it is. And there's some of the fairy tales that I have heard that they've written, and I thought I might as well actually read the proper story to these. The only one that I know that is somewhat true to the original is Cinderella, and for anyone who knows about Brothers Grimm and knows the original story, they will know what I'm talking about. So I thought I might as well actually, you know, buy the book and then kind of read the original stories, just to kind of get like a proper idea of what they were actually like and stuff. And I was maybe about 17, like 16, 17, kind of like looking into it and kind of like wanting to know more, but never actually went into it. So I thought I might as well give this a try and see how that goes. So yeah, and that's the last book. No wait, the other book I did buy is Little Women. That's not came in the post yet. Surprisingly, it was, I ordered it with a bunch of these books, but they decided to ship it later than the rest, so I don't know why, but it's coming in the post soon. But that'll be another thing on my classics list. That's the end of the book haul. I hope you guys found some interesting reads. So if some of these do appeal to you, like and want to buy them, here's some recommendations from, you know, my thing. Please like and subscribe, it means a lot to this channel, and I'll see you in the next video.